Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. And in this video, we are going to learn about a couple of things. So you can see on the screen Azure Virtual Network settings and how to create virtual network and define certain additional settings and configure virtual networks. I hope this will give you uh, good information and let's see how it goes. Okay, my belief says like it is an informative video for you. Rest of is up to you only. So let me begin with this one. So guys, the first thing, you can create and configure virtual network. Okay, you can create and configure Azure virtual network from Azure portal, Azure PowerShell, Azure CLI, Azure Cloud Shell, or an ARM. ARM template. ARM template is nothing but Azure Resource Manager templates. So you have multiple options to use to configure Azure virtual networks. So we will see here, okay, how we can use those things. And the first thing is like create a virtual network. Okay, so when you create a virtual network, you configure a number of basic settings. First thing, you have to configure a couple of settings. You will have the option to configure advanced settings such as multiple subnets, distributed denial of service, that is also known as DDO. Okay, DDO is protection and versions host, Azure Firewall, service endpoints, and use of net gateway. So these are the options we will have to configure and we should configure if required. Okay, so let me move further. So guys, you will configure the following settings for a basic virtual network. Okay, let's see. So this is a template. I'm just telling you a screen uh, when you are going to create virtual network. First of all, on Azure portal you need to go to home. Okay, then you will have to select Azure virtual network. You can say this virtual networks and then you can see create virtual network. So guys, you can see here, one is basics tab, one is IP address, next one is security, fourth is tags, and review and create. So everywhere you will have to make certain changes, certain configurations, and you will have to give certain names also. So you can see, like, Azure virtual network is the fundamental building block of your private network in Azure. Okay, that is all about uh, VNet, Azure Virtual Net. So it is a building block for your private network in Azure. You can read lots of things here. Okay, so you can see here, the first thing, it is asking you project details. So the first most important is your subscription. So you can see here Azure subscription is mentioned as of now, and if you click this arrow, down arrow, you will have multiple options and like multiple subscriptions if you have taken. Okay, and if you are using free, then that will show you here free. Now you can see here resource group. So this resource group, again, you if you click this, you will, if you have already created, those will be reflecting here, or if you want to create new, you can create from here. You will have to use this create new. Now let's see instance details. So you will have to give instance detail, name here, and region where you are creating it. So like West US, and you will have multiple region. You just click this down arrow. So this is basic information you have to give. Okay, you can see this one is selected here, basic. And next, if you click next, then you will go to IP addresses. Okay, then security, then tags, then review and create. So you should know a couple of things here. So the same thing I'm telling you once again, subscription, this one. Okay, this one, this option, only applies if you have multiple subscription to choose from. That is what I was talking about. If you have multiple subscriptions, then you can click here and select which one you want to apply to this virtual network. Okay, next one is resource group. Like any other Azure resource, a virtual network needs to exist in resource group. Yes, so if whatever you are creating, it goes to resource group only. So if you are creating a new virtual network, so you have to assign one resource group. You can either select an existing resource group from here, or you can create new one from here. Network name, you have to give network name here. This is instance detail that is all about. So network name, the network name must be unique in your subscription, but it doesn't need to go it doesn't but it doesn't need to be globally unique. Make the name a descriptive one that is easy to remember and identified from other virtual. So the meaning is very simple. You can give one identical name, okay, so that you can identify very easily. Like if you are selecting this West region, you can give West uh, virtual network name. Very simple. And let me move to next one. Region is like select the region where you want the virtual machine to exist. That is what I just spoke or just told you. Okay guys, now create virtual network. Okay, now we are done with basic settings, basic information we have given. Now we are at IP addresses. So you can see here IP address space. You will have to give one IP address range here, one network. Okay, so this is IP address for us. We are not using IP address 6, so you can leave this. And you can see here, like if you want to add any subnet, you can add from here. And you can see subnet name, so this is default subnet, you can see here. And 10.0.0.24 is your subnet address range. So NAT we have not selected, so it is not showing anything here. Okay guys, so you can see here edit subnet, subnet name default, you can give any name if you want. Subnet address range you can see here. Okay, and it is 10.0.0.0 to 10.0.0.255. And you can see 251 plus 5 Azure reserved addresses. And NAT gateway is not selected, not configured, you can see none, we have selected none here. And even service endpoint we have not selected anything. Okay, 0 services you can see. And this is the basic information we have to give to create virtual network at the time of creation of virtual network. And you can see like save option is there, and next is security, and you can see review and create. So the next goes to security. So same thing here, in detail like IP address range and subnet and all. So this is all about like when you set up virtual network, you define the internal address space in classless interdomain routing. Okay, CIDR format. So you can see this is your CIDR format, this is your 24-bit subnet marks, and this is your IP address network. Apart from this address space needs to be unique within your subscription and any other network that you connect to. Okay guys, so you can see, let's assume you choose an address space 10.0.0. and 24 subnet marks. So the range is like 10.0.0.1 to 10.0.0.254. This is your IP address range for this subnet. And then you can see like you then create a second virtual network and choose an address from 10.0.0.0, and you are giving subnet 8 only. Okay, the address in this address space range from once again like 10.0.0.1 to 10.255 to 54. Apart from this, some of the addresses overlap and cannot be used for the two virtual network, but you can use 16, subnet mask 16 IP address. With this address, the range from 10.0.0.1 to 10.0.255.254 and 10.1.0.0./16. So you can read couple of things guys from here, okay? And you can see you can add address space after you create the virtual network. So you have to initiate virtual network and then you can create IP address range. Apart from this, subnet, okay, within each virtual network address range you can create one or more subnet that partition the virtual network's address space. The main function of this, making a partition, okay, of subnet. The main function of subnet is making partition. Apart from this, service endpoint, here you enable service endpoint, then you select from the list which Azure service endpoint you want to enable. Options include Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Service Bus, Azure Key Vault, and so on. Apart from this, NAT gateway. A NAT gateway is a fully managed and highly resilient network address translation service. You can configure a subnet to use a static outbound IP address when accessing the internet. You can see here we are at third option now, third tab, which is security. So you can see like Basins host, if you want to enable, if you can enable, if you don't want you can leave it default. For this also you need to give name and your IP address you need to assign, and if you want any public IP address you can choose from here, or if you want to enable DDoS protection, enable. Okay, I know my resource ID and couple of things you can see. If you want to enable firewall, firewall is here, and firewall name you can create firewall subnet address space and public IP address. So these are basic things you have to select. So what it is actually, uh, Basins host, basically it is Azure Basin service provider secure and seamless RDP SSH connectivity to your virtual machine directly in the Azure portal over SSL. So it is for security only, secure connection. Okay, this one. Apart from this, DDO protection, you can select to enable or disable standard DDoS protection. The standard DDoS DDoS protection is a premium service. Apart from this, firewall, you can enable or disable Azure Firewall. Azure Firewall services managed cloud-based network security service that protects your Azure virtual network resources. And after you have configured these settings, select review and create. Okay, and then select create when validation is passed. So you have to select this once you are done with your all the configuration and setting. Okay guys, now define additional settings. So after you create virtual network, you can then define further settings. This includes, let's see, network security group. Network security groups have security rules that enable you to filter the type of network traffic that can flow in and out of virtual network subnets and network interfaces. You create the virtual network security group separately, then you associate it with each subnet in the virtual network. Next one is root table. Azure automatically creates a root table for each subnet within an Azure virtual network and add system default routes to root table. You can add custom route tables to modify traffic between subnets and virtual networks. Next one is subnet delegation. You can designate the subnet to be used by a dedicated service. You can also amend the service endpoint and net uh, gateway configuration. So guys, you can see here default is name here, okay, and subnet, address range, NAT gateway, network security group, root table. As of now, none is there, and service endpoint is also not selected anything. Subnet delegation is also not selected. If you want, you can select this drop down and choose as per the configuration in your requirement. Configuring virtual networks. After you have created virtual network, so we have created virtual network here, okay, we have clicked review and create, so it will validate for few seconds, and then you need to select create. Sorry. Okay guys, so after you have created a virtual network, you can change any further settings on virtual network pane in the Azure portal. But alternatively, you can use PowerShell command or commands in Cloud Shell to make changes. So as per your feasibility, you can either use Azure portal or PowerShell or Cloud Shell to make changes. But it is possible to make changes after creating virtual network. Okay, so you can see here my virtual network we have created by this name. Okay, and you can see here this is your overview, and you can refresh, you can move, you can delete, give feedback, and you can see here resource group, okay, and this is your IP address range, DNS server, you can see location where you have created subscription, okay, and this is your subscription ID for example, and this is your activity log, access control, tags, diagnose and solve problem. Apart from this, you can see address space, connected devices, subnets, DDoS protection, firewall, security, network manager, DNS server, peering, service endpoints, private endpoints, and properties, logs. So these are settings you can make once you have created your virtual network, and as per the requirement only you should apply, you should not apply anything unnecessary, because it may block your, or it may, I mean definitely it will block if you don't know how to use it, the traffic or settings, so it may create problem for you. So be sure when you have to use, what you have to use, which setting is for what purpose, then only enable it, okay, else you will be in trouble. If you don't know about the logs, just read first, understand about it, and then only apply. So you can see same thing just now I told you, what and all is mentioned here is here, same thing. You can then review and change settings in further sub pen, okay, this is your sub pen, this one, and same thing, address space, you can add additional address space in the initial definition. Connected devices, view the list of all connected hosts in the virtual network. Subnet, you can add additional subnets. And this DDoS protection, you can enable or disable the standard DDoS protection plan. Firewall, configure firewall settings with Azure Firewall service for virtual network. And security, provide security recommendation you can apply to your virtual network. Network manager, view connectivity and security admin configuration the virtual network is associated to. DNS server, configure internal or external DNS servers. The resources in the virtual network will be used. Peering, link virtual networks in peering arrangement. Service endpoints, enable service endpoints and apply them to multiple subnets. Private endpoints, view a list of private endpoints enabled in subnet. So these are the other additional settings we can configure, and apart from this you can also monitor and view metrics to troubleshoot your virtual network. For example, let's see, virtual networks are powerful and highly configurable mechanisms for connecting entities in Azure. You can connect Azure resources to one another or to resource you have on premises. You can isolate, filter, and route your traffic or network traffic. Azure allows you to increase security where you feel you need it. Okay, guys, and I am done with this video here. I hope it was informative. I tried my best to deliver. I tried my best to share with you. And if you feel I was capable to deliver something for you, because even you will give time. So whatever you want to do, you can do, like subscribe, comment, share, or hit this bell icon. So it is up to you. And in next video, we will learn about VPN gateway. Okay. So I will meet you in next video. Till then, bye bye.